live. I'm I'm losing my hair trying to get this asynchrony crap slash Azure Service Bus crap slash debugger crap to all work. And I've been counting down the whole time until 7:30. I'm like, I don't know if you've been seeing my latest Stack Overflow.
I looked at it, I think, the other day, and just another bunch of random Azure holy craps. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the original issue with my post was my emulator somehow was disconnected from the internet. But now I'm getting a different exception. And yeah, I think I'm going to start sprinkling Azure on my resume now.
Yeah. You probably should have done that months ago.
Well, months ago, I didn't feel confident having enough troubleshooting experience to stamp it on my resume. Now I think I've troubleshooted enough issues that I'm I don't have a guilty conscience about doing it.
So you've actually got value to deliver now because you've made mistakes.
Yeah.
Did you ever get the answer to this one then?
No. I think I'm going to have to edit it and change the term timeout to, I think it was something about, I forgot what the original, hold on, let me go to my Google thing. Could not resolve host is the latest error that I got. So it went from timeouts to now could not resolve host. Yeah, man. How's everything with you?
All right. I'm feeling a little odd lately. My kids have strep throat and getting really bored of work. So pretty much the same old.
I think you hinted that last time we talked. Are you not feeling appreciated? That's the word I'm looking for. That's rhetorical. You don't have to answer that.
I don't know. I'm just I'm hammering my head against something because there's a model of the system that kind of exists when we're dealing with the users, and then there's a model that kind of exists on the internal side of the organization, and they're not matching up, and I don't really have a good resolution to make them work together. So and they're getting kind of into crunch time here. Not crunch time as in work excessive hours, but just there's a lot of scope cutting type situations going on. So I don't know if it'll get resolved. I don't know. I'm tired of working on it. The problem. So I don't know. I need a change of scenery really. Just I've kind of capped out on where I can go with things. And there's no really new challenges or anything like that other than challenges that are pretty much impossible, like this one. So
normally I would say man up, but you probably don't want to hear that.
no, I can man up. That's fine. I am manning up. What do you mean? I'm not doing shit.
Meanwhile, I'm still like debugging as we're talking.
It's all right.
Yeah, I'm ready to be gainfully employed. Getting paid significantly more money doing a combination of mobile and cloud. So hopefully on Monday or Tuesday I'll start getting a surge of calls from Indian recruiters. Ask me if I want to work in Dubuque, Iowa, or Topeka, Kansas, or whatever. Topeka, Kansas? I don't know.
I think so. Topeka. Or Minnesota. You can come up here for a while. A lot of tech companies in Minnesota.
I need to ask if it is enabled before I just try to enable it. That would make my life easier. I'm looking at my code. All right, I'm shutting it down.
Or you could share. We could just pair program. Why not?
No, because then you'll start talking badly about my code, and I have low self-esteem.
No, you underestimate this. I don't understand F sharp yet. So everything you're doing is wizardry.
This is true.
As far as I know, you're writing the best F sharp code in the world, and everyone else sucks.
I'm definitely still honing my skills. Um, Now everything is more towards okay, how can I make this clear and more elegant with all this asynchronous syntax?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been like sharpening my skills on for the past maybe 4 weeks. But
Have you got any closer on actually just getting a full end-to-end demo then, or is it just issue after issue after issue?
everything's integration. The whole demo, like not connected to the internet, yeah, that I could demo that. But actually connecting to a cloud backend, microservice architecture, and all this other buzzwords, it's just a thousand paper cuts right now. I mean, it's good that I'm going through the process because a lot of this stuff is going to be documented in Stack Overflow to help me in the future as well as others. And I'll probably within 6 months write probably half a dozen to a dozen blog posts on a lot of things that I've learned. So I haven't wrote a blog post in a while. What's the last time you wrote a blog post?
Oh man, maybe last year sometime. I don't know.
Yeah. So if I sound down, it's just I am. I'm kind of tired. I just found out that the Miami marathon's this weekend. I'm like, oh shoot. Oh, let me see if I can pull off a half marathon. All right. So yesterday I was like, all right, if I'm going to be able to participate and at least do a half marathon, I need to run 8 miles today. And so I started my run. And I cleared like 2.5 miles, and I was done. Like, and I mean, granted, I ran on the beach, so it's 2.5 miles on the beach. So you're sinking inside the sand. Um, but I can't commit to doing what 13.1 miles on Saturday. I can't do it. And it's on pavement, and it's going to destroy my kneecap. So I'm kind of down about that too. I wanted to collect a medallion. That would be my third one, and then I can officially retire.
Did you get 3?
I got two.
Oh, 2. Um, maybe you could do a Azure coding marathon instead. 13 hours straight of
No. 13 hours straight of pistol whipping somebody else because I can't get my Azure code to work.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's all infrastructure stuff because, I mean, I assume you're using all of the code is probably all correct on this stuff. It's just the
So
configuration or environment or whatever.
here's I'm so smart, man. I'm a visionary, right? So look, you know what the next generation compilers are going to be? They're going to be based off of machine learning instead of rules, right? Instead of static rules, they'll be based off of machine learning. So they're going to more than likely tap into GitHub forums and Stack Overflow, and then it's going to pattern match on your code, and then it's going to run a whole bunch of diagnostics on connections, and it's going to send you errors along with suggestions, or it will just isolate what the issue with a certain percentage of confidence is. That's next generation compilers. I promise you that. I'm going to submit that on Visual Studio's voice, user voice, or whatever that's called. But it has to go that way because things are only getting more complicated. Regardless of sprinkling strongly typed functional language paradigms all over, like your compiler needs to be smarter. And I mean, like IntelliSense is smart, right? Now they have the little star for what you're more than likely going to select within IntelliSense within Visual Studio. But your compiler has no choice. But especially if you're competing with Rider, is it called Rider?
Mhm.
IntelliJ and all the other IDEs, like your compiler not only needs to identify what your solution is, but it probably needs you to acknowledge that, hey, as a compiler, I'm going to go ahead and address this error because I found that your code is breaking because of this, or that you're going to get a runtime exception, even though this is compile time checking because of this issue. May I go ahead and perform this operation for you? And you say yes or cancel. And you do that 20 more times in order to get your application to run, or you can opt out of it. But I think machine learning has to be like the next generation of compilers in which it's aware of your environment. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't doubt machine learning will continue to embed itself into software development, but I don't know how it would address environment issues. You'd have to do a lot of, I don't know, you'd have to have a lot of access to assemblies and stuff that is just kind of supposed to be a black box. Because I mean, if you took this code and you took it out of Android and just did it in a console app, F sharp console app, does it work?
yeah, I just did that this morning.
Yeah, and it works just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got to be something with a stupid Android emulator or whatever.
Yeah,
Right?
one is just because you have internet on your laptop doesn't mean that your emulator on your laptop has internet. So I've gone through that a couple times, both with gainfully employed projects, scratching my head, thinking that the server was having issues, and then recognizing, hey, do you have internet on your emulator? I'm typing like abc.com, like, no. So
But this case, you do have internet on your emulator, or
yeah, I do. And now I'm getting a different exception. So I'm no longer getting timeout exceptions. I'm getting a something about failure to resolve host.
so it's a
So
DNS thing,
no,
probably.
no, everything's running locally, with the exception of my Service Bus endpoint that's pointing to Azure server.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm
Oof.
stamping my resume this evening. I still got to do my taxes. That's probably going to take another 2 weeks for me to like try to do an hour a day of going through all my bank records, identifying everything that could be tax deductible.
Oof.
I want to be a kid again.
Yeah, me too.
I had a lot more friends, a lot less responsibilities. I wasn't obsessed with women. Like life was so much simpler.
Yeah, yeah. I was just reminiscing yesterday about about being a teenager again, or like that area of time. Like I remember sitting in my, I was listening to a song and it reminded me of, remember back when you'd have like
Back in the
56K.
day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I wish I was a kid again. That's all. Or you think about
No,
something?
no, just in general. Back in the day when you had like 56K dial up or whatever, and to download a song, it would take like an entire day or like a night. You have to start a queue up a song, and like you'd get the song downloaded next day.
I remember LimeWire and BearShare, and all
Yeah,
those were Trojans.
Kazam or whatever, Kazaa
They
or
were
whatever.
they were all Trojans. As soon as
Yeah,
you downloaded that software, you basically had to get a new laptop or a new desktop. Uh,
yeah. Well, I would like you download a song and it takes like every computer would have like 3 songs on it because that's as much as it takes. So I remember having to listen to the same songs over and over again while I was working on. I was doing. Did you ever play Counter Strike at all? The
no,
game. Okay.
no.
Well, I worked on some maps for that game, just for fun, and I had these songs on repeat. So I was thinking about going back to that time and how much fun it was to put those things together and work on them, and and all that's gone now.
I just remember playing um, like I don't know if it's called NFL 2K, but playing like the Dreamcasts and yeah, at the time I remember playing Dreamcast. I like Dreamcast. I don't understand why Dreamcast failed. Dreamcast was live, man, because they also had that boxing game. But I remember playing like the 2K franchise of games specifically for football, and my internet's hooked up to dial up, and I remember and I lived in a family of 5, right, and then it became 4 because of someone passing. And I just remember every time the phone would ring, I would have to wait 30 seconds to a minute for it to finally reestablish connection with whoever I'm playing with. And that was so annoying because you'll be in the fourth quarter and like everything is about maintaining your stats. And so like I have a healthy win ratio and I'm praying that whoever's on the other end doesn't quit, right? And then people used to game the system by like when they're getting ready to lose, they would unplug their cord from the device and then do some type of voodoo so it would manipulate the system into thinking that the other player quit. And yeah,
Jeez.
so I don't miss the days of technology, with the exception of I really wish smartphones were never invented. That's the only thing that I do wish, right? I would rather have a 1990s cell phone separate from a GPS navigation system. I would rather carry those two devices on my belt than what we have today. I can't stand humanity because of cell phones or because of smartphones. It's the most annoying thing ever.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I observed that a couple weeks ago. I was in Duluth with my brother-in-law. We were at this bar, and we were sitting next to a bunch of random strangers, and it was kind of the band was taking a break, and I'm drinking my beer and looking around, and everyone's just down on their smartphones instead of having those awkward "hi, I'm blah blah blah, let's have a conversation" kind of deal. So it was kind of chilling actually. So
I mean, I guess it's normal now, but like, are are you on social media outside of Twitter? Is it? I'll just ask that question first.
uh, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn are the 3 that I kind of follow on for different reasons.
I was watching. I don't know if I was watching or if I was listening to some content, and they were making an argument that uh, social media is different between the genders.
Hmm.
So the general consensus, and I think it's true, with the emphasis on general, is men care about things and women care about people. right? So, I mean, this is kind of recognized through professions, whether it's healthcare or technology, what really dominates based on gender. And something that was interesting is even within the realms of social media, uh, they were making an argument that LinkedIn, Twitter, and Reddit, they tend to be dominated or have a significantly higher percentage of men users, right? Your your Instagram, and I assume Facebook, but for sure Instagram. I think they said Tumblr. I've never been on Tumblr or whatever. Is significantly higher with women, and you know what their argument of the reason why. Well, you know the difference. You know Reddit and Twitter. What is it heavy on in regards to social media?
Lots of things, games, politics.
Lots of reading
Yeah. Okay.
and typing. Your Instagram and I don't know about Tumblr. It's just viewing photos and videos, and so I think their argument was like men tend to want to share ideas and debate and distill down some type of I don't know answer to something. And it was saying women tend to like want to just see what other people are doing and post how awesome their life is. And it's just two different forms of media. One is seeking answers or stating arguments, and the other one is sharing lifestyle or showing how pretty you are. Uh, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that just echoes what my grandma told me a couple, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe 5, 6 years ago. We were having a conversation about, I don't even know what. She goes, I really do not like hanging out with women very much. And this is my grandma, not me.
Yeah,
I'm like, why? And she goes, well, when you hang out with women, they're always talking about someone or whatever. But if you're talking with men, they're always talking about something or some idea that they have or some, venture that they're trying out or something. She just preferred the latter, I guess. But
she said
yeah, yeah. But that was kind of her analysis of the situation, is that you know women tend to talk more about people and men talk to more about their ideas. But I mean, that's all generalities, and you can get in trouble for even suggesting that nowadays. So
this is true. Well, today I have a feeling it's going to swing back to the other extreme, probably in another 15, 20 years, because it's a pendulum, right? If
yeah,
I'm using that word correctly.
you've now made yourself unemployable at Google. So
I didn't say anything bad.
yeah, neither did that one guy.
Twitter believes that I should um, put my penis in other things if I want to be employable by them because they want to know my sexuality. That
That's odd.
annoys, that annoys me. You want to know where I put my penis?
I didn't think they could ask
Like
that
that's on the form.
unless you want to like opt in, right?
They ask you about your sexual orientation.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought that was like only they can only do that for as an optional AA reporting thing.
I think that would be government uh,
Okay.
and organizations being compliant with governments asking, "Are you white, black, Hispanic?" And then they have another question about Hispanic, and then they ask you, are you a veteran, like a war veteran?" And then they ask you if you have a disability. I think all that's orchestrated by the
Yeah.
Fed. And then Twitter is like, well, no, we want to know like if you identify with LGBTQ whatever, and that part just bothered me. That really did.
Yeah. The
If I make love to my dog, does that mean that I'm even more diverse and that I'm going to bring a different type of, I don't know, contribution to your company. Like I don't, I just don't understand why that is going to help you with your decision when it comes to engineering. Now, products, maybe, right? Um, yeah, I won't be, I'll be a safer hire if I worked at Victoria's Secret because I have an alternative lifestyle or whatever. Or I identify more with femininity, if that's a word. But like to work in tech, you want to know what I do behind closed doors and with what types of people or artifacts I make love to. Like that's disgusting to me. So,
Yeah. I guess I don't understand it. The thing I'd be interested in just understanding is the whole. 'Cause I thought HR, or HR departments would kind of frown on those kind of questions because you can basically then say, well, it's because of this question that I didn't get hired, and try to bring some sort of lawsuit or something like that. Like I didn't answer this particular question, so they're the way they wanted, so they discriminated against me on my basis of sexual orientation. So
you're not a cultural fit if
yeah,
you're hetero.
yeah, I don't know. No, I don't think that's true,
It's
but
funny. We're in 2020, and these are the conversations that we have now. So,
yeah, it's odd. So
anything positive I could talk about? Because I know I've been like just going in. Um,
maybe I don't know, man. I gotta. I'm getting to the point though, like I said, where I gotta find something to get me out of this kind of just rut of thought and boredom with doing the same stuff over again and all that. Everything just seems like it's just not worth it.
it's, it's easy for you to watch the way I frame this. Help other organizations, right?
You mean with open source or something?
No, I'm talking about with the job.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've really wanted to stick it out and wait for this big project to be released, so I'm on the tail end of that. But man, I'm just dying for something different. So I don't know. Maybe I should start responding to those things.
And you put your resume on any of those job boards, you're going to be inundated with calls from India. Well, they'll be the phone number, the area code will be New Jersey or California. Watch, you'll see.
I haven't. I put on just LinkedIn. I put on like open to opportunities, not seeking opportunities, and I get maybe a half dozen requests a week, but rarely are they actually Indian. I don't know if that's why that is, but
Mine are, and obviously I don't have an issue with the ethnicity that's calling me. I have an issue
yeah,
with the staffing agency not doing their homework on my skill set. And so, hey, we have an amazing opportunity for a Java engineer or Selenium. Oh yeah, and this is in Idaho. Like they pick these remote areas. So imagine like me trying to get work done, me trying to be productive, and maybe every half an hour I get a phone call that has nothing to do with what I want to do. And it's spamming. That's essentially what it is. Except it's not a robocall, it's an actual human being. But they're trying to sell you an opportunity that either doesn't map with your skill set or like, okay, if you live in New York City, if you live in Miami, if you live in any international city, what is the probability that you're going to move to some remote town? Like it's extremely low. Like if you live in a city that has a higher quality of life and has a lot of freedom to do certain things to keep yourself entertained, no, I'm not going to move to, I don't know, name a town I never heard of.
Brainerd, Minnesota.
Okay, there you go.
That's where I live. So
Broadhead, Wisconsin. So
moved to Moorhead, Minnesota.
no, nope.
Nope. International Falls. Yeah, no, the people that I get pinging me, I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of odd that they. Oh, it's this. Oh, that's weird. It is kind of odd, like the kind of roles that people will ping you on, like, oh, this is an excellent opportunity for you based on your experience for something that's completely outside your skill set.
Yeah.
I just wish I could. I just want to post on there. I'm not interested in Java jobs whatsoever at all. Zero zilch. Don't ask me.
Yeah. I, I've studied. I'm not sure if I want to say studied. I, I reviewed uh, Scala, and I've been paid $100 for an IDE. I forgot the name of it. Sorry, coercive. I forget the name of the IDE. I can't get into the Java ecosystem. Like Scala doesn't even look cool to me. I know they have Dotty, which is essentially Scala 3, and that
Mhm.
I'm still not. F Sharp is really impressive, man. And now it's like the gold standard. And so, like, when I try to, for lack of a better term, inspect or review other languages to see if I should like start learning it, attach it to my tool belt, like, I start, I didn't realize how good F Sharp is until I started looking at other programming languages. Um, so like Scala doesn't do it for me. However, Elm was cool, right? Haskell, I haven't really gone balls deep in yet.
Yeah, I
I
was
still,
gonna
I,
say
I still have to do a, I still have to do a type system. Like I don't know
Haskell.
too much. What's up?
I was gonna say Haskell is kind of what the next logical step because it's purely functional, right? So it'd force you to think beyond any object oriented or imperative.
Well, same thing with Elm. I mean, Elm is a derivative or a dialect of Haskell, probably a derivative, but it's purely
Mhm.
functional as well. It took me forever to figure out how to do I/O and make web calls, but
But yeah, I can understand not wanting to go with like Elixir or those ones where it's functional but not strongly typed.
I do want to learn Clojure. I don't know when I'm going to learn it though. I'm going to learn Clojure like within within the next 36 months, and then I'll retire again. Of course, if I learn Clojure, that means I probably have to learn the namespaces in Java.
You should go the other direction and learn Rust.
I can't make the argument for Rust because as of right now, outside of Mozilla, it seems like Rust is a next generation of C++ in regards to like embedded or firmware. I I don't have any user stories for that
Yeah,
at all.
systems programming type stuff.
Like I mean, like I'm a business app developer. I mean, that could change, but that's what I know, and
Mhm.
that's the way my mind has been molded, and I can't even think about how I would apply Rust because I don't know that much about firmware or anything embedded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could expand some different ideas and give you new paradigms and stuff to work with. Maybe there's some concepts in Rust that are kind of unique. Um, that I don't know might lodge create some new neural pathways for you or something.
I agree.
But here I am not wanting to learn anything. So
I outside of tech, I'm going to. There's a couple of things. I need to scrape up some money to buy a two-wheel motorcycle instead of my three-wheeler, so I can learn some motor skills on two wheels. That'll keep the pathways open. And then the other one is strongly. I won't say strongly considering, but I have on my radar scuba diving. So it's kind of a fear, but it's something that I think is also cool because it's like an alien world in the ocean that I would like to tap into.
yeah, you could come up to Minnesota and learn to scuba dive here.
No.
What's kind of funny is we actually have like diving schools near here, because so east of where I live is a mining area, and they some of the old mines that they dug, 100 feet deep or whatever, got filled with water. Now they're lakes, but they're so deep that it's actually decent to train on scuba diving there. So they do scuba lessons and stuff out in the mine pits. So
Yeah, I don't think I'll fly up there to do that. But I don't know. Those are the hobbies I want to tap into.
gotcha. Yeah, I've just been playing this game nonstop, basically. I guess.
Are you competing?
Yeah, it's always against other people. So,
Have you started receiving hate mail yet?
you pretty much get it every game with that thing. You make one mistake and people are raging on you.
Oh, so you play with like teams.
Yeah, so the game I play it's a team game, so you play 5-on-5. With you can play. I play in solo queue, so I'm just with 5 random people. You can play with another, like a duo queue, which is the same queue, but it's with another person that you trust or whatever. But
I used to get highly upset. It's only a small percentage of the time, but like going back to Halo Wars, because I like that game. It's too bad that people don't play it anymore. But like you tell your partner, hey, I'm building these units, these type of units. You can go ahead and build those type of units, or vice versa. And they don't listen. And the whole point is to have like be able to respond proportionally. And like I'll just go in on them. Like I told you, or I'll send a scout over to see like the type of facilities that they're building, which would, you know, pretty much tell me with a high sense of confidence what type of units they're going to be cranking out. I'm like, hey, this base over here is cranking has these structures. It looks like they may be cranking out these type of units. So I'm going to go ahead and build XYZ. You should probably build, JKH or whatever the alphabet is, and then they don't follow through on what I tell them to do. And I'm like, all this we could have won this game if you just this is this is a real time strategy game, right? With emphasis on real time strategy game. Like why aren't you listening? Like I told you, I gave you the intel, and yet you still went on with your concrete like black box mentality. I used to go in on them, man, and then they would just disconnect from me.
yeah, what bothers me about the people in this game is that they've got no concept of late game mentality. So there's certain champions that scale up when the game goes on, and so you if you get into the late game, you can really dominate just because you have some sort of ability or something that activates that's superior. And then you've got early game champions that can dominate early on, and then they fall off. Late game, they'll just get hammered. So people will, if they're not winning within that first like 10-minute window, they've given up. They throw in the towel, regardless of how the comp looks or possible win conditions that you can have from that point on. And I play a late game champ, so I run into this all the freaking time, where people are like 5 minutes in, they're like, nope, done, I give up. They might to the point where some people rage quit and just leave the game. Like, great, well now we're 4 versus 5. There's no way we can win this.
Yeah, maybe I would be able to get into that game, but I hate it. Just doesn't feel right playing on a PC. What I was going to say, I lost my train of thought. It has something to do with that game.
Yeah,
what's the longest amount of time you spend in one game? I think mine was like 2.5 hours, and it was pretty much a deadlock.
Yeah, I think the longest I've ever spent in one game is maybe an hour at most. Yeah. But most games run from 15 to 45 minutes in that time frame. So it's usually, and they've made it changes recently to the game that make it so that pretty much once you reach a certain point, you're gonna likely end the game, because there's objectives that show up that make it so that you can basically steamroll the other team if you take them. So there's this thing called the Baron, which is like a giant monster, and if you kill it, your team gets this ability to siege the other team's base pretty handily. That doesn't guarantee a win. If you're behind, you can get a Baron and still lose, but it basically, if the momentum's already in your favor and you land it, you can go. And it can also turn a game around too. But then there's this other one. If you get this Elder Dragon, then like when people get below 20% health, they basically get blasted with a laser and die. So that pretty much guarantees wins on team fights. So not always, but pretty much. So they've designed the game so that it ends within the 45-minute time frame or whatever at most. So
have you recorded your APMs?
My APMs?
Gotcha. I knew more than you. Actions per minute.
No, I haven't.
Have you heard that term before?
No, not really.
So you're not a hardcore game player then.
I know I'm not. No, I play this one pretty handily, but I actually do check they have all sorts of graphs and things like that, aggregate sites that calculate stats. And I was playing a different game mode yesterday, but that's my summoner name and whatever. So
you don't get stressed out playing it though?
I get a little tilted sometimes when people just give up and leave or are just raging on you and whatever. And I got kind of that way the other day.
Well, also I'm more of like resource management. Like doesn't like put a burden on you where you're like juggling this cognitive load and you're managing your economy and you're still trying to tech up, and yet you're still defending over here, but you send an offensive over there. Like that doesn't stress you out?
No, this game isn't like that as much. It's more about it's individual skill, but then also within a team, within synergies of other players. Okay. So I can, you can focus on just playing your best version of that particular one, and building up the muscle memory to respond to certain events and stuff like that. So just an example of it's more of like there's a little bit of strategy to it, but it's mostly that kind of in-game tactical stuff. So for instance, you get a skill shot aimed at you that will root you in place for a couple seconds or whatever, and you've got to get used to the muscle memory to dodge that by just clicking off to the side or whatever. But Man, I don't know. I've been getting into watching the professional stuff though a lot for it though too.
What the Koreans?
No, there's Euro, there's North America, Korean, and China are the kind of the big four, but they have pretty much leagues in every area. It's funny the Korean and Chinese ones mostly have Korean and Chinese, and the European League has mostly Europeans, but the North American League has like imported half their players from either Europe or China or Korea.
Yeah.
So it's like the teams are whatever. But I don't know. It's actually when you know the game, it's pretty fun to watch because you can see, you know, as they're taking objectives as a team, and when they're when they're collapsing on people, and you can kind of watch as they're going to to win or lose, and there's moments where you're like, I can't believe that just happened, and
Are there any like? I'm just curious. Like, is it pretty much all developed countries? Are there any like third world countries that like have leagues that have visibility, or no, because they
um,
usually don't have good internet?
let me see what all
Like,
the
for
leagues
example, is
are.
there like a Team Zimbabwe or Team Trinidad?
So the I don't know the leagues are LCS, which is North America, LEC, which is Europe, LCK is Korea, LPL is China.
Where's Africa?
Um,
It
is
has to be South
TCL, which is
Africa.
Turkey. Turkey has its own league for whatever.
There has to be South Africa. I mean,
CBLOL, which is Brazil. LLA, Latin America. OPL, which is Oceania. LJL, Japan.
it's not
And
in there.
then, yeah, those are the
An
those
entire
are the leagues.
continent that probably has a billion people on that continent. It's not in there.
Yeah,
That's
well, yeah, it does depend on internet access too. So I mean,
yeah, but you have a whole bunch of white folks in South Africa. They have internet.
yeah, they're probably playing an Oceania league then.
Yeah.
So the OPL. It's kind of funny actually. So not funny. It's actually kind of cool from a technical standpoint. Is that legal Riot Games and League of Legends? They didn't want to depend on the internet for uh, to kind of like run their networks on. So they actually built their own internet. uh, Not the last mile, but you know, between their server sets and stuff like that, so that they can reduce the
Latency.
overall latency among all players in the
Yeah. How do
game.
you really do that though? I mean, like for like someone in North America playing someone in like Korea, like I feel like there's going to be a third or half a second latency. I would expect.
Yeah, they don't really play. People tend to not play cross regional though.
Or
So
doesn't
there's North America servers, and then uh, there's European servers and Chinese servers and Korea servers and stuff like that. And so you pick your region, and then
the
you kind of play on those servers against other people. So
the region would have to be in the middle of the Pacific if it's North America and Pacific countries. So like that region would have to be like Hawaii or on a container ship is where the servers are. Seriously, like that would be the halfway point.
yeah,
I I can't imagine like servers being in continental U.S. or continental like Asia, and they're trying to play each other. Like you have to throw that on Hawaii or on a ship, the servers.
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I sent you an article there though that describes what they did to kind of solve the real time application issue with that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. If you get into watching sports, you could
Mm,
check out that game.
I'm gonna try to abstain from it because I'm afraid that it might make me curious, and then all of a sudden I like, yeah, I decided to just shelve the speech delivery app. I'm gonna be a professional League of Legends or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's funny that stuff that I wouldn't expect to like age effects and gender seem to have impacts on how well you play the game. Like you would think that there should be kind of an equal distribution of men and women in this game in terms of professional players, just because there shouldn't be a physical difference, and so there's probably isn't, but there's probably some other like reason why there's not any women players.
So here's
In professional, and there's lots of women players that play it just casually. Or
you know who would dominate that game?
Not me.
A chimp.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't know about chimps?
Well, I know that they're able to do things that we aren't because of their brain structure, but I don't think that they'd be able to understand.
You never seen that video? You never seen that video of that chimp playing that memorization game?
Yeah, I think you shared that with me.
Yeah, like that's weird, because you just think that their only advantage over humans is strength, like physique.
But yeah, they don't have they have a certain part of their brain that we don't, or whatever.
Like, look at that. I don't know if you look at the link, but like they flash the screen with numbers for like 1 second, and then the chimp
They're just like
the whole thing,
yep, yeah, you shared that with me.
and then takes his banana or something.
Yeah, because they have what photo memory or whatever. There's some humans that do that, right?
You know, there's a condition where apparently there's a condition where if you can't have visual imagery, well, if you don't have visual imagery, period, then that's actual like medical condition. I don't know if I want to say medical condition, but it's a condition. And so I didn't realize there was such a thing. So like they say, like Nikola Tesla, he was so gifted that he would actually have a mental image and walk around it and be able to diagnose whatever he needed. I'm not sure if that's true or not, because that makes me think of like Microsoft's HoloLens, right? Except he didn't need it.
Yeah.
But apparently people can, within their mind, visualize with some detail what something is from memory. I can't do that. I can, but it's only like sex and video games. Those are the only two where like I have visual imagery of Sub-Zero doing the slide, uppercut, freeze, slide, uppercut. Like I see that in my mind, right? I see it with enough detail, but I can't see I can't visualize, for example, a car driving down the road, like that I've noticed that a friend was in. I can't detail that in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I can think I can see like a car going down the road, but it's not crystal clear. I can conceptualize the spatial. Here's the car and it's going and whatever. And
the only other one is traumatic events. So like seeing like loved ones like on the gurney before they pass away, or when I almost drowned. Like I see that very visually. Like I see the details. So traumatic events, I can see it as if it's real. Sex and video games. Those are the only three. Everything else is like I can't do it.
Did you follow that tweet that was going around, or was it last week, about You know, some people think visually and other people think in sentences. So like when you think, do you hear words? Like
Who did I tell this to? I told somebody a couple of days ago. I don't know where I was. I told somebody like, okay, so when I read a book, there's a white voice reading it to me. Does that sound weird?
no, well, no, because I don't know, like if I'm reading something where I know the author, I'll hear it in their voice. So like let's say I go out and read one of your blog posts, I would hear your voice reading it.
Okay.
Or you know, if I read something by Scott Adams, I'll hear Scott Adams' voice in my head going through it.
When I read like technical documentation, or I mean, because I don't really read fictional books, like I hear a white voice, and maybe that's attributed to me being babysat by the television playing like Animal Planet or Wild America, the documentaries, and it's always like usually a white voice. So people thought that was weird about me, that there's a white voice that narrates in my head. Um, but do I think in sentences or do I think in imagery?
Like, do you hear words when you just think? Like, are you having an internal monologue?
No, no. Usually, if no, I don't. I don't know how to spell unless I go through the muscle exercise of acting like I'm writing it down or typing it.
So do you
Like
see pictures in your head then mostly? You
no,
that was what they said was kind of the deal. Is some people think in visual pictures and some people think in sentences,
mm,
and then there's a mix. So
no. I think mine is probably a third option. I usually have to go through my 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 muscle memory and go through the act of doing it for it to come back. So I literally have to like take a pen and start writing the word in order for me to know how to spell it, or I'll start typing the word in Notepad for me to know how to spell it. What else is there? If it's programming, yeah, it's
well, I mean, I guess maybe this was maybe this was it. If you hear the word cat, do you and you think about cat? Do you think about the word cat, or
no,
do
it's,
you think
it's
about do you see a
visual.
picture of a cat?
I see a blurry picture of a cat. It's just like purple dinosaur. Do you really see the words purple dinosaur?
Well,
That's a
no,
question.
I can hear the word purple dinosaur in my head. Like
Yeah, but
I'm constantly having a conversation.
you don't have a mental image of like something that resembles a purple dinosaur,
Well,
like
yeah,
Bart.
now if not, yeah, I mean, I can have both. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just not a good test of it. I don't
Yeah.
know. It was kind of a cool revelation, just in terms of we all think differently.
I
I
mean,
don't
my
know.
stuff is always blurry images, so I guess I process visually, but there's no detail, right? It's always like a very abstract image of whatever is said or whatever thought is passed.
Yeah, but do you can you like if you were gonna just sit down and like think about a story about a cat, would somebody in your head be telling you that story, or would you just be watching the story unfold?
If I sat down by myself
Yeah,
and thought about a cat, no, there's no one telling me. There's no one like there's no narrator. No.
yeah, okay.
Some people have narrators when they're thinking about something.
Well, yeah, it's this kind of like internal monologue. Like people think in sentences, and that's generally how I usually think. Is if I'm driving down the road, I'll be like, be having a conversation in my head.
So you
I'm
have
not
sub
just
captions
speaking.
in your head.
Well, it's like there's a little, you know, just voice that's just talking constantly, right?
I mean, okay.
Let me find
So
that tweet, like, because the
I mean,
editor's not doing a great job.
I'll when I'm thinking and I keep my mouth shut, yeah, like my subconscious is talking, and it's like a voice. It's not words. And like so, I spaz out all the time when I see people buried in their phones. Uh, yeah, so in my head, there's a voice like, oh, so annoying, right? And like it's verbal in my head.
Okay, yeah, that's it. The verbal in your head thing. Like you can hear yourself saying,
Yeah,
"Oh,
or
it's
like
super annoying."
I'll be out in public and something ignorant will happen, and I'm like, this I got into
Yeah.
that. I got into that yesterday. So I was working out of a cafe, and this bothers me. It really does, and I got stuck because I hated both sides. Is so this black dude, obviously, right? He comes off. He comes into like the property of the cafe, and he immediately uh, starts approaching people, asking for things. And so I'm on my laptop, and like I'm pretty much cold hearted. Like if you're not an immigrant, then I don't feel bad for you. Like you don't need my help. Period. But you know, if you're an immigrant from another country, I might consider trying to help you. But anyway, so it was like this black guy, and he had came onto the property, and he was asking people for money. And there was like this she looked like she was Chinese, this Chinese lady that was sitting next to me, and she's been buried in her phone. I swear to God, for like half an hour. Didn't even look up, just in her phone the whole time for like half an hour. And so the guy approaches her and he asks her for money, and I don't even think she speaks English. So I think she was like trying to ignore him by not looking up and addressing him. And the guy wouldn't leave. And the guy was like, "Oh, I know you got some money on you. Like, just give me $1. Just give me $1." And like I was getting upset because one is I'm black and I'm sick and tired of people automatically profiling me, right? So the more that pattern matching machines, aka human beings, observe like a beggar or someone that is intimidating, that is of darker skin, the more they believe that everybody is going to do that. And so I wanted to like stand up and defend her so that one, she would recognize that not everybody behaves like that, right? There's different demographics even within black people.
Mhm.
But then I was like, hold up, this chick's been like in her phone the whole time. I hate phones, right? She's not even trying to relate to Wynwood, Miami, and the experience. She's just probably focused on herself. You know what? I'm just gonna let him bully her or whatever. So I got stuck between defending her and standing up to the guy to try to change that stereotype versus, well, hold up, she's just a cyborg anyway, so why should I defend her at all? It's clearly she's just obsessed with social media, and I'm against that. So maybe this is an opportunity for her to get out of her phone and focus on life and society. Is that bad?
No, I don't know. I would be probably thinking, I'm not going to get into this altercation and walk away from it.
Well, that's because you probably have nothing to lose or gain from it.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
me, and maybe I need to see a therapist over it. For me, I'm a minority almost everywhere, and I felt several times the bad end of the stick when interacting with people that don't look like me, and I know how they behave in some occasions when I'm approaching them versus how someone else approaches them. And so like I wanted to change that stereotype, and so like I feel like I could have influenced that situation where one person at a time she could realize that just because someone's like very dark skinned doesn't necessarily mean that when they approach you they want to take something from you. And I felt like that was an opportunity for me to disrupt that in the show because some people are just ignorant, right? They don't probably have a lot of life experiences. They only interact with people that look like them, and so when they have a couple negative experiences with people that don't, they automatically, with a broad stroke, say, yeah, I'm going to stay away from this person. I'm not going to answer this person when they ask me a question for help or whatever. So that's what I was going through, and that's why I was kind of invested in that situation.
Hmm.
So that's it.
But yeah, I guess I don't think there's any problem with you staying out of it just because someone's in their phone and totally ignoring the situation.
Oh
She
no,
can.
she ended up giving him money.
Oh,
He
really?
was he wasn't leaving until she gave him something.
Jeez.
Yeah, it went on for about 10 seconds, and that's why I was getting like upset.
Hmm.
So
Well, I guess person did right then if they they got what they wanted with persistence, right?
no, they didn't do right.
Anyways,
And then I watched him go to everybody else asking for cigarettes and money, and then he just kept going door to door in other businesses. But it's 8:40 now, so I guess you have to do your
yeah, I
thing.
probably got to get going. So, well,
Yeah.
normal time next week then. So it's just kind of an off. We're going down to that Mall of America then this week. So
Oh yeah, that should be exciting.
yeah, it'll be a blast.
There's a huge. I thought there was a huge memorial cemetery for a federal. What do you call it? There's a huge burial or cemetery for soldiers, right? In Minnesota.
Yeah, Fort Snelling, I think.
Is that what
Probably.
it is? I know it
Yeah,
was
my
big.
grandpa's buried there. Yeah,
Okay, because I drove by there one time.
it's right by
And
the airport.
yeah, okay. It's been real.
Cool.
Peace.
Have a good week.
Yep, you too. In
All right, bye.
podcast.